Astroneer has been on an interstellar path to improvement in the Xbox Game Preview program, but now it's go time. That's right, we are clear for launch tomorrow. In celebration of the game release, System Era, the developers launched their own Astroneer, perched atop what else? An Xbox One X, right into suborbit. Yep, that is 23 miles up. Mad, but awesome. So what about the game itself? What is an Astroneer? Well, I think it's a bit like a Pioneer, but with less pies and more Astros. Does that sound right? I think so. And as an Astroneer, you'll explore and reshape distant planets with up to 3 friends in drop-in, drop-out co-op play. You can build vehicles, customize bases, and reform terrain as though it were lovely, soft, extraterrestrial clay. It's my favourite type. Astroneer will be adding some brand new gameplay at launch that will bring you to every planet, trying to unravel the mystery of the solar system through huge, mysterious structures. Plus, unlocking new planets will reward players with new suits and customization options, so great new content being added for launch. Looks amazing.
Hã? Então, eu vou comprar. Pega a mim, deixa que eu pego.
How good is that, eh? It really is a beautiful game and a ton of fun. And a huge congrats to System Era, the developers, on launch. Right, still me. This is like a subscription to Xbox Game Pass.
Game Pass, you're better than that, Graham. Point rate, get reset, long signal to go, camera 3, good to go?
Yeah, thank you.
Energy up.
Thanks for looking out for me, pal. I really appreciate it. Just put that down. You got a little thing there. Okay, good. Right, I feel like I've got everyone's support here. Right, if you're not watching us on Mixer, why not? There's still time to log in with your Microsoft account. You'll receive a free in-game item for Sea of Thieves and a chance to win a beta code for The Division 2. Coming soon, I'll be joined by Joe Neate straight off the sloop from Rare to talk some big news on the Sea of Thieves. But first, if you like adventures, you're going to be intrigued by a development studio founded by 3 heavy hitters in gaming. We're talking veteran developers with award-winning titles under their belts who've teamed up to build something special of their own. Take a look at what we found on a secret spy mission to Typhoon Studios.
Automatic distress signal. Relay to command center. Mayday. Mayday.
Typhoon had been a dream of the 3 founders for a number of years when we've been working at other companies, whether it's EA or Warner Brothers or Ubisoft for myself, and the timing was never quite right. And then one day we just decided to jump.
Either we're going to do it now and start this company, or we're going to stop talking about it because people are going to get sick of hearing our shit.
We all quit our jobs, moved into a room with no windows, and launched the studio.
We flew with one PowerPoint to the first GDC. Meeting with a lot of people who had interest in having us start a new project. And we have some great investors who backed us early on, and so now we have this awesome partnership with 505 where we're really excited to make Savage Planet and to start showing it to people.
So during the Savage Planet, our goal is to be optimistic and upbeat and colorful and funny. I wanted the game to be as systemic as possible. I wanted the player's story to be more important than the story we were, laying over the top. And I wanted it to be sort of loud and different and hopefully funny.
Right at the beginning, we knew that we wanted to have something refreshing, right? So, and something uplifting. So we chose to go like colorful and kind of simplistic, so easy to read. You're a space explorer sent by Kindred Technology, which is the 4th best company in space exploration. So they're not super
always like perfect, right? Things don't go as expected, but you still have your mission there. So your mission is basically to explore that alien world, document about its wildlife. But there's also an adventure aspect to it. We did a teaser at the Game Awards, which was cool because it introduced people to the world.
Once again, we would like to thank you for joining the Pioneer program here at Kindred Aerospace.
So far, it seems like that's resonating, which is great because it's really hard to break through the noise.
Obviously, people want to see gameplay, and we will deliver gameplay in the very near future. But we just wanted to show people the world and the tone of the game.
Oh, hang on. I think that's enough questions with quote-unquote real people. I'm Martin Tweed, founder and CEO of not only Kindred Aerospace, but all of the other smaller, insignificant companies that have attached themselves like barnacles to the main enterprise.
So yeah, Martin Tweed is our fictional CEO and founder of Kindred Aerospace and all of the Kindred empire of other businesses and opportunities. And he's very, very hopeful and very, very smart and secretly very, very ambitious and not very worried about the safety of his employees.
We'll strap your body to a rocket and we'll send you hurtling through outer space. That's what we do. Armed with nothing but hope and a pistol, you will be the first to explore undiscovered planets. Hopefully, you'll return to Earth in one piece. Onward to adventure.
Amarrou, né? Lembra? Amarrou, né?
What's cracking, everybody? If you watched our big XO18 show from Mexico City, this guy will look familiar. Yep, it's Joe 3 Sheets Neat, executive producer for Sea of Thieves. How are you, Joe? Welcome back on the show.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a little quieter today than Mexico City.
It definitely is, isn't it? It's pretty chill. Before we get started, I saw an amazing tweet from you this weekend about one of your adventures in Sea of Thieves. Can you please tell us the story?
Indeed, yeah. So when I tweeted this, I didn't expect it to be appearing on Inside Xbox. But so I was playing in an open crew, and I just joined. I was playing with a couple of kind of random strangers, basically. And one of them was a kid and another player. And we were just playing. We formed an alliance with another crew. We were taking down the skeleton fort. And obviously, you've got the microphone on, and we're chatting and stuff. And then one of our kittens jumped on me, and I just instantly went, "Oh, I love you, Munchkin." And then I realised that I'd said this to the crew and the crew that we were in alliance with and the crew that I was playing with. So I swiftly just left the game, basically. Yeah.
So you were straight out. You're like, that's it, I'm done.
Yeah, I was just like, that was.
I love the mystery
I don't know how many people heard it.
Can we see a picture of your cat on screen here?
I think we might be able to, yeah. So there's the two of them. But yeah, they are very lovely kittens.
Well, there you go, just one of the crazy things that happens on the Sea of Thieves.
Indeed, yeah. And the dangers of proximity chat.
Speaking of crazy things, you've had a mad few weeks, right? The momentum has been ridiculous. Tell us about what's been going on.
Yeah, so we launched Shrouded Spoils kind of end of November, and just basically since then we've just been gaining momentum, and the numbers have been crazy. Like we've seen incredible streaming kind of success. So January, the month just gone, is our highest number of viewing hours on streaming like since the launch of the project. So even exceeding kind of March and April around when we launched. We've seen our player base grow significantly too. So since November, basically, so we launched this end of November, and then during December and through to January, we've actually seen our player base kind of double in terms of our monthly active users. So more than double are playing it now on a monthly basis, and it's still kind of growing. So day on day, we look at the last 30 days, and that number's still going up, which is just incredible, right? So it's been so cool to see how that update kind of wrapped up all the stuff we've been adding throughout the year, and really has kind of just made that world so rich and emergent. Every time you're out there playing, there's a new adventure, a new thing to encounter, and it's just been amazing to see. And so, you know, with the stuff that we've all got planned for this year, I think it puts us in an incredible position to, you know, I think year 2 for kind of Sea of Thieves can be even bigger than year 1. Right? That's the goal that we have in the
because you're almost at your first year birthday of Sea of Thieves, which is crazy. It makes me feel even older than usual. But there's also been a lot of conversation in the community about crossplay recently. Do you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Yes. So crossplay, like we love crossplay, right? As a team, we've loved how it kind of breaks down barriers. It allows people to play together across PC and across Xbox. But as we look forward to the arena, which is one of the things that we're working on that will be coming to the game, like we know that, like, because it's going to be so competitive, that some players are going to want that option to kind of just opt out of crossplay, so they get a level playing field. So for players on console with controller, they'll be able to play with other people on controller. But we want to offer that option kind of across the game. So for arena and for adventure, when we bring that in, well, our intent very much is that It's for Adventure, which is kind of the game as it currently exists now. That's what we kind of call it. An arena will come in and be its own kind of option. We expect and want as like the majority of our players and as many players to play together in kind of crossplay and with in that style. So and that will be how we design it in the front end, how we service it. So it's really going to be specifically if you really know that you want to go do this, you'll have to find the option and kind of turn it off for Adventure, whereas we'll be a bit more kind of servicing it to players for Arena. So how we design it and how we do that will lead to hopefully the kind of behaviour that we want. And so we've seen lots of conversation around this, around like will this split players, will it lead to kind of emptier servers? But that's not how our kind of game works. We have server migration, which moves people between servers as to keep the servers full and to keep the kind of encounters with other ships to be the right just kind of frequency and everything. And alongside that as well, we have a super healthy player base on both platforms. And so I've seen some numbers kind of being bandied around in terms of what the percentage is of players on Xbox, the percentage on PC. And so we actually just kind of ran a kind of check over the last weekend. So just looking at the kind of player base, so from like 6 AM on Friday through to Monday. And our split is like 35% of the players kind of playing over the last weekend and playing on PC. And then I think it's 35.2%, and then 64.8% kind of on Xbox. So you've got this great split of people across the two platforms, and that's really cool for us to see. We value both platforms equally. We value all the players that are playing, and we love crossplay. But we just know with the arena coming that we wanted to offer that option. So that will be coming in. The team's working on that at the moment. We want to make sure that comes in for when that arena mode comes into the game.
Good to know, and super interesting as well. I love those stats in there. Yeah. Right, you've got an update coming tomorrow, but there's something you want to show us first, right?
Indeed, yes. So the update tomorrow is mainly kind of quality of life improvements, bug fixes, a few little things. But Sea of Thieves is great as an adventure out there and played with friends, and we really wanted to offer an opportunity to everybody kind of playing Sea of Thieves, whether it's on Game Pass, whether they own it, to have an opportunity to bring some friends in and really show them what's amazing about Sea of Thieves. So we're going to play a little video, and then I'll talk a little bit more about what this is.
Nice.
There's no greater pleasure than sailing across the Sea of Thieves with a crew of your finest friends. But if for some reason they haven't hopped on board yet, now might be the perfect time for them to dip a toe in the water with our Friends Played Free offer. From February 6th to February 13th, any existing players of Sea of Thieves can invite up to 3 of their friends to join them on the waves. Whether you want a physical or digital copy or are playing with Game Pass, you can take advantage of this offer. Simply head to the Sea of Thieves website at seaofthieves.com and then go to the Friends Played Free section. You'll be prompted to log in with your Microsoft account, and then you'll be presented with 3 panels which you'll need to scratch to reveal your codes. Each 5x5 code gives one player unrestricted access to play Sea of Thieves for the duration of the offer. To celebrate this, Duke will also have a new voyage for you to complete, as well as offering you a new mercenary ship livery. So if you know someone who's still waiting to take the plunge into the waters of the Sea of Thieves, then from the 6th of February, grab your codes and get set for adventure.
Love it. So you'll be able to press gang your pals into playing Sea of Thieves with you?
Absolutely, yeah.
Good. So. All right, wicked. What else can we expect from the update tomorrow?
Cool. So, with this, like we talked about, we're bringing in a bunch of kind of changes and kind of improvements. One of those is around just combat. So we've seen in Sea of Thieves kind of recently the proliferation of people using what we call the double gun kind of technique, which is something we didn't design. We didn't want to be the case. And this is really where people could shoot quick succession with 2 kind of projectile weapons and kind of basically instant kill players. So we've kind of nerfed that, for want of a better description, to stop that being possible. And we've also taken the chance to do a bunch of other kind of combat improvements to really try and make each weapon stand out and work as kind of as we designed. So kind of it won't be as easy to hip fire kind of some of the weapons if you're not aiming and things. It won't be as accurate. We're really trying to bring the sword into play and give the blunderbuss kind of more of a role, because we look at our data, we look at our feedback, and like the balance isn't quite right at the moment. So we're going to put this out there. We've been testing with Pioneers. We want to test it now with our wider audience, and we're going to be looking at this and continuing to make changes and improvements. And this is change, right? And so we'll expect to see some feedback on it, like we always will, right? Because people have got their muscle memory of how they play and what they like and what their techniques are. So be a bit of relearning there, but that's coming with this. And we talked about it a little bit in the video there, but we're kind of launching this new set of voyages called like mercenary voyages. And so for our players that have been playing, it's kind of similar to the Gilded Gifts we ran prior to Christmas, which was a really cool way to give these special voyages to players. It drove really interesting behaviour in terms of people going out doing these high value quests, and then you had the people on the quest, you had people who were out hunting the seas looking for those players on the quest. You saw some really great kind of interaction between people. And so with mercenary voyages, the first one that's coming with this is for Friends Play Free, and it's really the perfect voyage for you to give to your friends. It gives them a tour of kind of the different trading companies and ends with the drunken chest. And so what we'll see is we'll see a lot of people out on these voyages. You'll see a lot of people with kind of quite a bit of treasure on stuff. So we'll see, is it going to drive that kind of player behaviour again of the kind of people out on quests, the other people going looking, and which is what the shared world of Sea of Thieves is. But this is just a taster really, and as we move forward, we want this to be a regular series of kind of mercenary voyages that we introduce. And what we want to do with that is just drive really interesting social behaviour between players, like drive people to different parts of the world, maybe force them to have their Reaper's Mark flag up so they're present on a map, like to go and do voyages like that. So again, you're trying to drive interesting interactions. So I think we've, like the Gilded Gifts really proved that with something quite simple, you can drive really interesting player behaviour. And I think that's the magic of this shared world that we have, and the different motivations, right, that you've got in there of people exploring, people kind of going doing quests, people going and looking for more combat. So I think we've got some fun plans lined up for that, but this is just the start for that, really.
I love that. It feels like you're engineering like the perfect Sea of Thieves experience for this Friends Play Free.
Yeah, right? Yeah, that's the intent. Yeah, and so and alongside that, there's for lots of people stream Sea of Thieves, right? Loads and loads of our players have streamed the game, and we've had a lot of requests for people specifically to be able to kind of turn off the gamer tags of other crews that they encounter, because what you were saying, for some people like who were watching streams, they were trying to get into those streams and almost just kind of stream snipe basically, and so by identifying, joining other people's crews and getting in. So you'll be able to turn that off in the settings now, and we're looking at other feedback as well from streamers. So there are other things that we can do. I think one of the requests we've had, which we're looking at, is can we turn off like the gamer tags of your crew as well, so that there's like just none of that stuff's visible. So I think we're looking at that in the studio. But yeah, there's a bunch of other bug fixes, but I think I'd expect a lot of the feedback, a lot of the kind of focus to be around the combat balancing and stuff. So we welcome that. We look, on Reddit, on the forums, on Twitter.
You love feedback over there, right?
Honestly, right, like you've got to, we always want to keep growing and evolving and doing new things with Sea of Thieves, and so it's really critical that our players give us constructive and open and honest feedback, and we'll keep being open and honest with them.
Absolutely. So we mentioned it earlier. Yeah. We got to wrap it up, unfortunately, but we're coming up to your first birthday, March the 20th. You must have big plans for that, right?
Yes. Sea of Thieves' first birthday. I'm not that yet. But but yeah. So it is. It's March the 20th. Amazing that we'll be out a year, right? And we definitely have special plans to celebrate. So we are going to be announcing on March the 20th, so not releasing, but announcing a kind of a mega update, for want of a better phrase. So a lot of the things we've been working on across the studio, some of which we've talked about, like Arena, like Pets, like the work that we're doing on the quest system to kind of bring a bit more story and lore and things to that. There's all of these things plus more that we're basically the entire kind of team is working on. We're going to be announcing it, so we're going to be announcing kind of what's in it on March 20th and when it's coming. And so our community, of which there's a lot, and we've got all of these players that are playing and loving Sea of Thieves right now, have to be a little bit patient until then, but trust me, it's worth it. And when I talk about this year being kind of bigger than the last, that's because I know all the things that we're currently working on and our plans for how we want to go crazy and grow this. So I know we're going long, but I love talking about the game.
I know, I can talk to you about it all day. That's brilliant. So March 20th is a date for your diary, the Sea of Thieves birthday party. It sounds like you're going to get a pretty good party bag out of that as well. Indeed. Joe, always a pleasure to see you, mate. Thank you. Send my love back to the studio. I miss you all, and we'll see you again soon. Cheers. Right, there aren't many games that generate as much anticipation, rumours and excitement as the upcoming Jump Force. Earlier, Rukari, who literally has a Goku tattoo on his arm. Yes, it's true. Spoke with Nakajima-san from Bandai about the game and got a look at some never-before-seen video footage.
Here to talk about Jump Force is producer Nakajima-san from Bandai. All right, how are y'all doing today? First of all, I just gotta say, you
excitement around this game is intense. I mean, I've got a Dragon Ball tattoo. I'm ready to go, but what I want to know is, how are you going to keep fans hyped after the game launches in 10 days?
すでに9人のプレイヤブルキャラクターとそのアバターコスチュームに関して追加するという発表はすでにさせていただいてるんですけれども、それだけではなくて無料のアップデートも予定しています。追加のアバターコスチューム、ステージ、ロビーでのアクションというものを定期的に追加する予定です。さらにロビーではイベントとオンラインイベントの予定もしています。またそれと同時にですね、本作バトルの調整やゲームの改善も定期的に行っていこうと思ってます。すでにオープンベータテストのご意見を参考にバトルの調整を入れていて、それがローンチのタイミングで皆さんにお届けできるかと思います。今後もこれから本作に関してはお客様がずっと楽しんでいただけるように我々は努力していこうというふうに思ってます。
Alright, so we just already announced 9 characters. We have avatar costumes and things like that. But not only that, we also have free updates and also many more IP cross costumes. We're going to have some online events as well in the online content. So something that comes in periodically every now and then. We also are going to be doing adjustments in the battle and balancing mechanics periodically based on player feedback so that people can continue to enjoy the game as the battle in the game develops. We also have beta tests, and so a lot of our user feedback is going to be absorbed from those beta tests. So we're working very, very hard to bring you, a very exciting experience well after the release of the game.
Well, that's great to hear. I love the community bits, and I especially love that free part. Now, I hear there's a world premiere video that we're getting ready to see. I want to know, what have you brought for us?
そうですね、もうすでに2月4日に発表したんですけれども、新しいジャンプフォースのキャラクターでジョジョの奇妙な冒険から空城城太郎というデュオの参戦を発表しました。その PV を本日お持ちしてますので、ぜひ皆さんに見ていただきたいと思ってます。
Alright, so on February 4th, we already are going to be announcing 2 characters from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Jotaro Kujo and Dio. So we're gonna take a look at that.
Awesomely, I gotta say, as an anime fan, I'm super excited for this. So thank you so much for joining us today. It was an absolute pleasure. All right, well, no more waiting. Let's go ahead and take a look. Next up, Jeff is going to get to the bottom of what's happening with Metro Exodus, but first, check out this hauntingly cool story trailer.
Man is a beast. A beast.
Who are those people trying to kill us? Come closer, Artyom.
Mamãe, não sei quem tá te ligando. A TV no quarto. Manuel, bebê.
Foi eu que desliguei. Toda vez tu tá deixando tudo ligado aí. Só gastando energia.
Now that is a pretty cool trailer for Metro Exodus, and fortunately we've got Hugh Bynum from Deep Silver joining us to give us the inside scoop. Hugh, thanks so much for joining us all the way from central London. We got to see some really interesting things there. A desert, a lush forest, a snowy scape. Are you sure this is a Metro game?
Yeah, well, for Metro Exodus, we've really shaken things up. So for the first time, you flee the Moscow Metro, you board this gigantic steam locomotive, the Aurora, and embark on this incredible continent-spanning journey. So you're going to go through all 4 seasons, this crazy mix of environments. You just saw a glimpse of some of them in the trailer there.
We got to see a little bit more of Artyom as well. Normally we see him from a first-person perspective. We're shooting horrible monsters, but I think we learned a little bit more about his character here.
Yeah, that's right. We let you play in first-person perspective in the game, and we never leave Artyom's perspective. We think that really helps the immersion, but it's meant Artyom's always been a bit of an enigma, and we wanted to explore Artyom as a person, let you kind of find out what kind of man he was. So that was really the creative idea behind the trailer.
So ever since we saw Metro Exodus for the first time at E3 a couple years ago, people were wowed by how it looks, and we're expecting it's going to look really good on the Xbox One X, the most powerful console ever made. So what have you guys been doing to optimize for the X?
Well, as you said, the X is the most powerful console out there at the moment. It's the only one that we can hit native 4K resolution. Metro games are famed for their beautiful worlds and environments. Being able to render that in 4K detail just means that we can really bring those environments to life. We also use HDR. Now that we've left the Metro, we have these big open environments with day-night cycles. You still go underground as well with lanterns and candles, and HDR just really helps make the lighting more immersive. And I guess speaking of immersion, we have full support for the Dolby Atmos system as well. So yeah, the game should sound as terrifying as it looks.
I'm sure the artists and the sound designers really appreciate that, using the full suite of the power of Xbox One X. So February 15th, it is a crowded day. We've talked about a number of games that are coming out on that day already. So I want to give you the chance to tell us, what should people be looking for? Why should they be excited to pick up Metro Exodus on February 15th?
Well, we think Metro Exodus is going to scratch that itch for people who are looking for an epic, story-driven experience. We blend so many different styles into the game, from combat, exploration, and stealth. It's really more than the sum of its parts. You're going to experience these beautiful but ruined post-apocalyptic environments, fighting mutants and factions. It's a pretty full package.
And I think you were telling me a little bit about some really cool customization with the weapons as well.
Yeah, that's right. We just went to town with the weapon customization this time, so you can now customize your weapons on the fly. You can turn your pistol into a long-range sniper rifle. It's this brand new mechanic. It works really well. We released an incredible weapons trailer a couple of weeks ago that really shows it off. If you like your guns, I suggest you go and check it out.
All right, you've heard it. So many reasons to check out Metro Exodus when it is available on February 15th. Thank you so much for joining us, Hugh, and bundle up, will you?
Will do. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Metro looks great, but we're out of time, so let's wrap up this episode of Inside Xbox.
Now, thanks to all of our guests and, of course, you at home for spending some quality time with us today.
And a big thank you to Kate. Welcome to the Inside Xbox family, Smash.
Thank
Well done.
you very much. I appreciate that. Now, don't forget Crackdown 3, February 15th on Xbox Game Pass.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in March for the next Inside Xbox episode. I'd like to tell you what it's about, but I can't yet. Get some really good stuff. See you next time.
See you then. Bye-bye.